this time we're going to be taking a look from the Toy Biz Marvel Legends, the Series 9, or Galactus series, Doctor Strange. Right up with the power grid and statistics. You have the other figures in the wave, which were the Gray Hulk, first appearance Hulk, with the variant Green Hulk, Nightcrawler, Bullseye, and his variant figure, War Machine, Professor X, and Deathlock. Of course, the Build-A-Figure would be the Galactus. The reverse side, you can see the simple directions for putting together Galactus. Doctor Strange first appears in Strange Tales number 110 in 1965. So, taking a look at the sculpt of the figure, we'll have to remove his, and we'll set that aside and come back to it. Now, the sculpt of the actual figure is pretty good, I think. You get nice little details on the sleeves and in the tunic. Nice soft rubbery bottom part of the tunic and sash here. His hands are molded in his spellcasting pose in a nice face. The legs are a little bit lacking in both the way they're sculpted and the way the articulation is. They're not bad. It has all the right articulation. It's just the way it's molded. It's doesn't really suit the figure, I think, or it doesn't help the figure to stand up all that much. Another issue that I have with the figure is the paint. Leopard print, animal print gloves. That's all very nice, but when you get into the chest area here on this design and the neck area here on the back and up there, it kind of gets washed out. You see here on this side, up at the top of this, and on the back here has this darkish tint to it. Even his gray temples are a little bit too gray and not white enough. For accessories, he comes, well, I'm treating this as an accessory, the Cloak of Levitation, in which the Eye of Agamotto is sculpted into. I do like the fact that they tried to give him a cloak that allowed for his articulation, but you can see that they cut this into 3 different parts here, instead of just having one whole piece. But unfortunately, it's just so heavy and restrictive of his articulation that it really takes away from the figure. I mean, the only really part you can pose him with the cape on is his head. Now, you can kind of pop out the hands a little bit, but that's it. It's just so heavy that it forces the hands back down into position. And since it is a very heavy plastic, or rubberized plastic, it puts the figure off balance. So he's hard to stand with his weirdly positioned legs. You really got to fiddle around with him. Oftentimes, I do try to use the cape to balance him out. He also comes with a reprint of the first 3 or 4 stories from Strange Tales, because if you did not know, he originally shared a title with, of all people, Nick Fury. He's got a nice head articulation, although it's a little bit tight looking to the right. The slight extra shoulder articulation in here that gives him a little bit more forward and back motion. Arms go all the way around, rotate, bend, double elbow joint, forearms rotate, his wrists go up and down, middle 2 fingers are jointed, and that gives him his little spellcasting pose. The waist articulation, his legs go forward and back, out and in a little bit, but are restricted by the bottom tunic. Double knee joints, rotate at the calf there, and bend at the ankle, as well as have the toe joint. No pivot on the foot, and I think that would really have made this figure better. Dr. Stephen Strange, he's a real medical doctor, went to medical school, and he becomes a renowned neurosurgeon. His fame feeds his ego, and he becomes a very selfish and vain man. One day, he's in a car accident. The nerves in his hands are damaged. He's able to use his hands, but he will never be able to perform surgery again, so thus affecting his entire way of life. Instead of become a consultant or surgical consultant, maybe perhaps another doctor, a general practitioner or something like that, he spends his money and time into efforts to try and get himself cured. In his wanderings, he comes to this temple in the Himalayas, and he's searching for the Ancient One, who is supposed to be this great healer. Now, he's very much a man of science, so he's really at his last straw in sort of believing that this mystic guy will be able to cure him. So he finds this monastery, presents himself to the Ancient One. The Ancient One says, "You stick around," is very non-committal. Strange then runs into another disciple who is plotting against the Ancient One, and this is Baron Mordo. Unfortunately, Baron Mordo notices Strange before he can slip away and tell the Ancient One that Mordo is planning against him, and Mordo casts a spell that prevents Strange from telling anybody else that he's witnessed this betrayal. He decides that the only way he can really prevent the death of the Ancient One is to become a disciple himself. That way he'll be able to keep an eye on Baron Mordo. So when he goes to the Ancient One and says, I want to become your disciple, the Ancient One reveals to him that he knows all about Baron Mordo. He will take on Strange as his disciple because he can trust him. From then on, Doctor Strange is committed to learning the mystic arts and opposing Baron Mordo to eventually replace the Ancient One.